There's a pattern in elite fighting. Champions lose, they recover, they come back. That is the usual story. But when fighters lose to Alex Pereira, something else happens, something harder to explain. 2 divisions, multiple title reigns, a kickboxing world title, and a list of fallen opponents that reads like a who's who of the sport's elite.
This man is a monster.
Losing is common in this sport. What a loss to Pereira does to a fighter is not. From a favela in Sao Paulo, a former bricklayer's assistant built himself into one of the most devastating knockout artists this sport has ever seen. But this is not his story. This is the story of the men he leaves behind. Number 1. Israel Adesanya. Before the UFC, before the belt, Pereira and Adesanya had history. 2 kickboxing fights. Pereira won both, the second by knockout. And that loss didn't just hurt Adesanya's pride, it nearly ended his career.
So when I was fighting in China and I lost to Alex, they stopped giving me fights. And I was like, look, I have 7 more fights on my contract. Can I at least just get 3? I just need 3 because money was running out, the money I had saved up. And then, I was down to my last one day, like $500. And Eugene was holding pads for me because see something was up. And I just said, bro, I'm about to be broke, this and that, right. And he said, don't worry, just leave it with me.
His coach, Eugene Behrman, wired him money just to keep him afloat. That's the part people forget. Before he was champion, before he was untouchable, he was vulnerable. And instead of letting that chapter close quietly, Adesanya reopened it. In 2018, with Pereira still grinding through regional MMA, Adesanya dismissed him in an interview.
He watches all my fights, and every time I fight, like clockwork, he'll try and put something out like, I beat this guy. At the end of the day, no one knows who the he is, and he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub, talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time, trying to get a dick sucked from a crack whore or some shit.
The quote traveled, and according to Pereira, he actually was in a bar when he heard it. That moment wasn't humiliation, it was ignition. He committed to MMA, signed with the UFC in 2021, and from that point forward, there was only one direction, towards Adesanya. While Pereira was building himself with a target in mind, Adesanya was constructing something historic. He rose through the ranks, became middleweight champion. For a stretch, he was the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, confident, precise, in control of his narrative. And the entire time, the man he'd publicly mocked was climbing the same ladder, quietly. Then, Poatan arrived.
Hey, Adesanya, come to daddy.
November 12, 2022, Madison Square Garden, UFC 281. Adesanya was ahead on every scorecard, 1 round from surviving the ghost of his past, and then Pereira hit him.
Oh, here's the left hook. Here in the bell. Oh, now right. Adesanya's on one leg. 2 more. Down goes the champ. He'll do it.
He did it. He did it again.
Alex Pereira, the undisputed middleweight champion.
Oh my goodness. He did it again. Oh my goodness. He did it again. He did it again.
And suddenly, the old story was back, only bigger. But Adesanya reclaimed the belt at UFC 287.
Adesanya has finally done it.
Oh, he got him back.
Israel Adesanya.
He got him back.
But from that moment forward, everything started to unravel. He lost the title to Sean Strickland in one of the biggest upsets in UFC history, lost again by submission to Dricus du Plessis. Then, in February 2025, in his first non-title fight in years, he was stopped by Nasruddin Imavov in round 2. Off the mat, the unraveling became visible. In 2023, he was arrested in Auckland for drunk driving.
Kiwi UFC superstar Israel Adesanya has escaped a conviction after he was caught drink driving in August.
He's spoken openly about having limited fights left.
I'm done. Like I said, there's more to life than fighting. I just know I'm on the tail end. I can see the finish line. I've been seeing the finish line in the distance, but now it's closer.
In February 2025, a fan asked if he regretted the Barstool Nobody comment.
I love this fucking story, eh? It's just the best. Like, he's actually at a bar drinking and it's like, Shama, boom, decides to become, MMA fighter. Or he was already an MMA fighter, but decides to like take it seriously and get to the UFC and fight me, chase me. But again, like I said, he chased me. I didn't do that, but I don't regret it, no. I am glad I did because it motivated him, and look what we've created. I created a monster.
Watch his face when he says it. There's pride, but there's also recognition, because the rivalry didn't just elevate Pereira, it destabilized Adesanya's invincibility. The man who once called himself the last stylebender is in the final chapter, and the further he gets from that Pereira rivalry, the clearer it becomes. He didn't just lose fights to Pereira, he built him. Number 2. Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland was on a serious run at middleweight.
He's a psychopath. He kills to eat for pleasure. Come on, Jack! Come on, Jack! He loves violence. Strickland trying to end it. That's it. Sean Strickland.
Then he fought Alex Pereira at UFC 276. Within 2.5 minutes, Pereira landed a left hook. There's a specific kind of knockout that doesn't just beat you, it erases you. And for a moment, that's what it felt like. Strickland didn't argue, didn't protest. He just stood up afterward with that blank expression, like a man who'd just been reminded of the ceiling. Here's the strange part. That loss may have been the best thing that ever happened to him. Because after Pereira, something in Strickland's style sharpened. He stopped trying to be dynamic, stopped chasing moments.
Dude, you gotta have your footwork on point, and I didn't realize that my footwork was so fucking bad, so I came here, I was doing a lot of footwork drills with Alex. He was the man, he showed me a lot of shit, and at the end of the day, man, like, me and Bruce, we're gonna bang, dude, we're gonna have a fucking war. I might win, I might lose, but either way, man, we're gonna be bloody afterwards. So it'll be a good time, it'll be a good time.
13 months later, he walked into Australia and dismantled Israel Adesanya to become middleweight champion. Not flashy, not dramatic, just disciplined. The same fighter people wrote off as chinny and one-dimensional had just outclassed one of the greatest champions in UFC history. But the story didn't stabilize there.
Yeah, you laugh, you
Yeah, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
yeah, you did hit a nerve, you bitch.
He lost the belt to Dricus du Plessis, tried to win it back at UFC 112 in early 2025, lost a close decision. Then a suspension for his role in a post-fight brawl, a year out of the cage. That kind of layoff ruins most contenders, but when Strickland returned in Houston,
Listen here, you motherfuckers!
he faced Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, 8-fight win streak, ranked 4th, stylistic nightmare on paper, a wrestler, pressure heavy, supposedly all wrong for him. Instead, Strickland fought like a man who had already been humbled once and learned from it. It wasn't reckless aggression, it was controlled violence. He earned Performance of the Night, and just like that, he was back in the mix. Now, outside the cage, Sean Strickland remains one of the sport's most polarizing figures. His inflammatory press conference comments have drawn widespread condemnation. But inside the cage, the arc is clear. He never got a rematch with Pereira. He probably never will. But the knockout that could have defined him refined him. It stripped him down to fundamentals. Some fighters lose to Pereira and spiral. Strickland lost to Pereira and simplified. And 3 years later, that fire, the one lit by that left hook, still burns. Number 3. Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz was never meant to be champion. He built his career the hard way. Regional shows in Poland, inconsistent UFC run, 4 losses in his first 10 fights. Analysts labeled him durable, tough, limited. And then, at 37 years old, an age when most contenders are fading, he knocked out Dominic Reyes and became UFC light heavyweight champion.
Blachowicz has done it! He's the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion!
He wasn't supposed to peak that late. That's what made it powerful. His reign wasn't flashy, but it was earned. He defended once, lost the belt to Glover Teixeira in 2021, beat Alexander Rakic to stay relevant. He wasn't dominant, but he was still there. When Alex Pereira moved up to light heavyweight in 2023,
eu decidi isso, pouco antes, da minha última luta. Essa é minha próxima luta agora no meio pesado.
Blachowicz became the test at UFC 291. The narrative was simple. Could this middleweight knockout artist handle a seasoned former champion?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. For the winner, by split decision, Alex Pereira!
On paper, Pereira won by split decision, but Blachowicz never accepted it.
For me, I believe that I won this fight. But it is what it is, and that's it, Now it's just a history for me, and I need to don't left decision for referee.
And that matters, because for fighters who peak late, belief isn't optional, it's survival. What made the loss heavier wasn't the split decision, it was what followed: shoulder surgery, 20 months out of the cage, time, the one opponent you can't outwork. When he returned at UFC London in March 2025, he fought Carlos Ulberg, younger, faster, surging. Blachowicz gave everything he had. The judges gave it to Ulberg, unanimous. Then came Bogdan Guskov at UFC 323 in December 2025. Majority draw. He is 43 years old. There's a thin line between resilience and refusal, between champion's belief and denial. For years, that belief carried him further than anyone expected. But Pereira's win at UFC 291 felt like a pivot point, not just in rankings, but in time. Because when Pereira moved up, he didn't just enter the division, he accelerated it. And Blachowicz, the man who made a career out of defying expectations, suddenly found himself chasing something he once held. Some fighters are broken by Pereira, some are redirected. Blachowicz wasn't broken, he just ran into the moment where belief and biology stop agreeing, and that might be the hardest loss of all. Number 4. JIŘÍ PROCHÁZKA. Nobody on this list has been finished by Alex Pereira quite like JIŘÍ PROCHÁZKA. Not once, twice. JIŘÍ isn't just a fighter, he's a philosophy. He meditates outside arenas the night before fights, trains in isolation, lives in the Czech countryside, talks about combat like it's a form of purification. Chaos to him is freedom. But Pereira doesn't fight chaos, he fights with inevitability. Their first meeting ended with Pereira's left hand finding him. The second was even brutal. Procházka stepped in on 2 weeks' notice. No hesitation, no excuses. He always believed that if your spirit is ready, the body follows.
These chances will not come if you are not ready. It's just about your courage. Courage and belief. Short time is better for me because I'm here to show that I'm the best.
13 seconds into round 2, a head kick shut the lights off. Twice in a decade, both by the same man. For most fighters, that's the kind of pattern that rewires you. And here's the fascinating part. It didn't. After the second knockout, Procházka didn't change who he was. He didn't become cautious, didn't abandon the chaos.
I was not born for the losing fights, and especially like that I lose the second time. That was something that was not honorable for me. That was something really bad.
Only one thing goes on my mind. I need to evolve to the next level or don't fight again.
January 2025, he knocked out Jamahal Hill. October 2025, headlining alongside Pereira at UFC 320, he stopped Khalil Rountree Jr. Not a different JIŘÍ, a refined one. All of it with one stated goal, a third fight. Not revenge, not ego, completion.
I'm with Alex 2-0. Man, I wanna win one fight really decisively. I don't wanna say like I wanna win, I wanna beat Alex Pereira. It's something bad in me. No, I really like him. And I like his style. This is why I wanna face him.
But then the story shifted. In February 2026, Pereira vacated the light heavyweight title.
I never loved Pereira moving up to heavyweight, but he wants it bad. This guy always wants to fight. It's going to be interesting.
And suddenly, the man JIRÍ had been rebuilding himself for wasn't there anymore. The UFC turned to JIRÍ for the vacant belt. April 11th, 2026, Miami.
Light heavyweight champion JIRÍ PROCHÁZKA will be facing the number 3 ranked Carlos Ulberg for the vacant, undisputed UFC light heavyweight championship.
His only 2 losses in the last decade, both to the same man. Now he fights for the title that man left behind. And this is the twist. Adesanya was destabilized. Strickland was sharpened. BŁACHOWICZ ran into time. PROCHÁZKA, though, wasn't broken. He was tested. The question isn't whether Pereira damaged him. It's whether a warrior who frames defeat as part of his path can finally close a chapter without the man who wrote it. Of all the fighters Pereira has touched, JIRÍ might be the only one who treated the loss not as trauma, but as instruction. April 11th will tell us whether that belief was enlightenment or illusion. Number 5. Jamahal Hill. Sweet Dream's story isn't tragic because of failure. It's tragic because of timing. January 2023. He defeats Glover Teixeira and becomes UFC light heavyweight champion. It wasn't controversial, it wasn't lucky, he earned it. He was 31, entering his physical prime. The division felt open, the future felt long. And then...
We do have some breaking news late last night. It was announced Jamahal Hill, the light heavyweight champion, he has torn his Achilles. He is going to need surgery, he is going to be out indefinitely.
Just like that, the title he had fought years to earn was vacated. Not lost, not taken, given up. He watched from the sidelines on crutches as Alex Pereira moved up and claimed the belt in his absence. There's something uniquely cruel about that. Not being beaten, being replaced.
Former champion Jamahal Hill, who did not lose his title, challenges Alex Pereira, who has looked like a world beater in a very short period of time.
When Hill returned at UFC 300, he didn't speak like a former champion. He spoke like a man who believed the belt had been temporarily misplaced.
You ain't done shit here. You ain't done shit in this weight class. You won a couple favorable matchups. They literally gave you the best matchups that they could possibly give you. He's just a steward on the throne. Now, there's nowhere to hide. The real king is back in, and there will be blood.
He called Pereira a placeholder, walked in like the story was unfinished. 3 minutes and 14 seconds later, it was. And here's where the psychological weight sets in. When you never lose a title in competition, you can tell yourself you're still the champion until someone removes the doubt for you.
I came in as a sportsman with a certain level of respect and camaraderie and sportsmanship that he didn't have any intention on showing. So he signals to the ref, I got kicked. The ref yells, stop. I stopped completely. He then takes the angle and closes the distance. I took no damage. Most of the fall was him. I remember everything. I remember looking up, seeing his legs. I remember him coming in. He's able to land some shots and kind of throw my equilibrium off on the other side, but I was coherent the whole time.
After Pereira, the slide was immediate. 2 back-to-back losses followed, PROCHÁZKA, Rountree. Then in October 2025, it was revealed Hill had undergone a cartilage transplant, his knee essentially bone on bone. He'd been competing through deterioration most people can't imagine. He's not expected back until late 2026. By then, the division he was supposed to lead will have cycled through multiple champions. And that's the hardest part. Hill never lost the light heavyweight title inside the cage. He won it, got injured, came back, got erased. Some losses are technical, some are psychological. Hill's was temporal. His window opened and closed before he even had time to realize he was standing in it. And Pereira? He didn't just beat him. He became the proof that the division moves on whether you're healthy or not. Number 6. Khalil Rountree Jr. Khalil Rountree's career has already had one ending. He was cut from the UFC after going 1-3 in his first run. For most fighters, that's the fade out. A short paragraph on Wikipedia, a quiet exit. Instead, he rebuilt. Regional shows, smaller venues, no cameras waiting, just win after win, until the UFC gave him another shot. And this time, he stuck. 6 straight wins inside the octagon.
This is a serious light heavyweight on the rise.
God, Khalil is just terrifying.
Still, when the light heavyweight title fight at UFC 307 was announced, Rountree was ranked 8th. Bigger names were available. Higher-ranked contenders existed.
I don't think that Khalil's a better fighter. I don't think Khalil can win a single round.
Khalil can lose the first round. He can lose the second. He can lose the third. He only needs 1 second.
I just think Pereira right now has just got that momentum behind him. He's gonna just avoid the shots Khalil's throwing because he just got the long frame. He'll get out right out the way.
He wasn't supposed to be there, which made round 2 feel surreal. He rocked Alex Pereira, dropped him to a knee. For 2 rounds, the man who had once been cut from the promotion was on the verge of becoming world champion. And then Pereira adjusted. But the most revealing moment didn't happen during the stoppage. It came afterward. On a podcast, Rountree explained that the punch that split his eye open didn't just hurt, it took his vision.
For instance, in the fight where this cut happened, I think I got hit, boom, and I knew that I had gotten it like a hit hard because I started to see my vision kind of blur a little bit. But the second one that landed, the one that actually split my eye, I literally, in that moment, I was like, I went blind, but fuck it, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, you don't say.
Because I didn't see anything after that. I saw just light. I didn't see shadows. I didn't see anything. So I was like, I can't see. I'm fucking blind, but whatever. I'm not gonna give up.
Yeah.
Think about that. A fighter who clawed his way back from being cut, got 1 shot at the title, lost his vision mid-fight, and his reaction wasn't bitterness, it was analysis. He didn't question whether he belonged, and his first instinct was to get back in the gym and figure out why he lost. He added Muay Thai coaching under Christian Knowles, trainer of kickboxing champion Jonathan Haggerty. Worked grappling with 17-time BJJ world champion Marcus Buchecha. He came back in June 2025 and defeated Jamahal Hill by unanimous decision. Then at UFC 320, JIŘÍ PROCHÁZKA knocked him out in round 3. And here's what separates him from the others. Rountree doesn't spiral. He doesn't reinvent his personality. He doesn't retreat. He upgrades.
Pretty wild also considering you're coming off of a loss. Like you had more confidence coming off of a loss.
100%, because the loss just showed me that there's more work to do. You know, like people always say back to the drawing boards, and like it was more than the drawing boards for me. It was like back to the dirt, back to the Vegas weather, back to the dying on the assault bike, back to challenging myself, back to going deeper. Who am I really? What am I really capable of? And you know, like that was it. It was just like deep internal digging to get out and to discover what I'm made of. And so in that comes confidence. In that comes like I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do.
He sits 4th in the division now. The man who was cut, who went blind in a title fight, who lost again and went back to work. Some fighters lose to Pereira and unravel. Some fighters lose and simplify. Rountree lost and expanded. The loss didn't prove he didn't belong. It showed him exactly how much more he needed to become. And that might be the most dangerous kind of fighter in the division. Number 7. Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev came up through the mountain villages of Dagestan, a region where wrestling isn't a sport, it's an inheritance. He won the Russian championship, the WMMAA gold medal. By the time he signed with the UFC, he was already a decorated combat athlete. He won his first UFC fight, then his next, then the next, 14 in a row. The losses weren't coming, and yet the title never seemed to arrive. In December 2022, it finally did. UFC 282, Jan Blachowicz, 5 rounds for the vacant light heavyweight belt. Ankalaev dominated the championship rounds, outstruck him by more than 100 total strikes. Nearly every media member scored it for him. The judges called it a split draw. The belt stayed vacant. Blachowicz himself later admitted Ankalaev deserved it.
I don't want the fight. I don't know that I lose the fight, but for sure I'm not the winner. Give the belt Ankalaev, you know.
You think he should get the belt? I agree.
Ankalaev went home without the belt, without the title, without anything to show for 5 dominant rounds. Then Alex Pereira became champion, and suddenly the division had a storm at the top. While Pereira flattened contender after contender, Ankalaev waited, the one stylistic question mark no one had fully tested.
Alex, stop running away from me.
Then came UFC 313, March 2025. He arrived with a game plan no one else had tried, or at least no one had committed to fully. Don't counter, don't wait. Take the initiative away from Pereira. Pressure him. Make him the one reacting for once. He staggered the champion in round 2 with a left hand that visibly hurt Pereira. He won the late rounds. He was patient. He was disciplined. He was suffocating.
Ankalaev controlling this round. Pereira looks like he's fading a bit.
It was the first time Pereira looked like the one solving problems instead of creating them. The scorecards came back all in his favor.
Well, слова мне передать. Я так долго шел, и вот моя мечта на мне.
After years of waiting, after the draw, after the near miss, he was finally champion. 7 months. He held the title for 7 months. Think about what that means. 7 months as champion after years of being overlooked, of having the belt scored away from you on a night you clearly won. 7 months to sit with the idea that the thing you'd spent your whole life building toward had finally arrived. And then, October 4th, 2025, UFC 320, the rematch. And just like that, the control Ankalaev had built over years collapsed in under a minute and a half. That's the brutality of Pereira. He doesn't just beat you, he makes you think you figured him out first. Ankalaev had cracked the code. He knew the blueprint worked. Pressure, initiative, discipline. But Pereira didn't return with the same puzzle. He returned rewritten. As of early 2026, Ankalaev sits ranked number 1 in the division, still ahead of Procházka, Rountree, all of them. His record shows just 1 knockout loss and 1 controversial draw in 24 professional fights. On paper, he's still the most complete threat at light heavyweight. He knows exactly how to beat Alex Pereira, and that's what makes it cruel. Because in this sport, knowing how and being able to hold on to it when everything speeds up are 2 very different things. On February 27, 2026, USC CEO Dana White confirmed that Alex Pereira had vacated the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship.
I never loved Pereira moving up to heavyweight, but he wants it bad. This guy always wants to fight. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Just weeks earlier, Pereira stepped on a scale at 242.5 pounds. He wasn't teasing the move, he was calibrating for it. The fight the MMA world immediately started talking about was Jon Jones.
Who is next for Alex? Right. It has to be something big. It has to be a huge challenge, a mountain to climb.
Jon Jones.
That's something like that.
Could you imagine Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones?
Hey brother,
Biggest fight right now will be, Jon Jones.
But at 38, in and out of retirement, he's no longer something you can build a timeline around.
Jon Jones he retired because of his hips. He's got arthritis in his hips. Add that on top of all the other reasons.
I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
That I wouldn't. The Jon Jones thing is bullshit.
So the next step is already here. June 14th, 2026. An octagon on the south lawn of the White House. His opponent, Ciryl Gane.
Well, truly, I think it's a better fight than Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones, and a lot of people wanted that.
Fun fight. It's obviously very interesting.
Now, zoom out. Pereira has already held titles at middleweight and light heavyweight. A win at heavyweight would make him the first fighter in UFC history to win championships in 3 separate weight classes. Not join a club, create one. And look at what he leaves behind. Procházka and Olberg fight for the vacant belt in Miami. Ankalaev waits. Rountree rebuilds. The division he destabilized is reorganizing itself without him. The men who survived him are now fighting over a title he decided was no longer heavy enough. Everyone on this list had a plan. Most of them were right, just not for long enough. He doesn't wait for divisions to catch up. He moves on before they can. The bricklayer's assistant from Sao Paulo, the man who once heard he'd amount to nothing while sitting in a bar. He didn't just climb the ladder, he keeps removing the rungs after he steps off them. And somewhere above all of this, a new list is forming. Bigger bodies, higher consequences. And if history tells us anything, it's this. Wherever he goes next, someone will think they figured him out. Someone will have a plan. Someone will believe this is the moment it finally ends. And maybe it will, but until it does, the list doesn't get shorter, it grows.